Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. They were at property address 10160 Southwest Crestwood Drive here in Beaverton. Located at the back of the house. I'm going to try and reset. I'm having some kind of issue today with my dang foot counter for some reason. Not sure why it's not showing up. I'll try and reset this, otherwise have to make do. Oop. May have got it that time. Anyway, I'm not sure what's going on. I can zero the dang thing out, but it's not counting. So anyway, it doesn't prevent me from locating, and I can guesstimate pretty nicely how long we just went. So anyway, dropping into a 4-inch cast iron cleanout. Water is running. All right, looks like we're swapping over here to PVC pipe. Good deal. Got some updating done to it. And right out of the gate, fairly clean sewer line too. Not a bunch of grease buildup and junk like that. It's nice to see that. After doing almost 25,000 scopes now, that grease buildup issue is become a pretty big stickler on it. It's a very common contributing factor to blockages occurring. Just turns your line into a sticky mess and causes debris to hang up that otherwise wouldn't. And a lot of blockages occur without people even realizing it, especially balled up toilet paper blockages that kids create frequently. A lot of them, especially in plastic pipe, will break loose on their own without you even knowing they happened. The pipe walls are, they're smooth. You get start getting 3 to 5 feet or so of water filling up behind that. It's often enough to break things loose. When your pipe walls get all sticky with grease, that same blockage that might otherwise break loose on its own can withstand significantly more head pressure building up behind it. So it's more likely that just your run-of-the-mill stuff will result in an actual sewer event of some kind. Now it looks like we're into concrete pipe. And this thing really gets out. There's a lot longer sewer line than I thought we were going to have here. I'm hoping I can reach the end of this darn thing. Alright, made it. There's our connection there. And I'll go out and locate and kind of guesstimate how far we went a good distance there. I can tell we went well over 100 feet. Probably about 110, 115 feet to the main. If not, possibly a little longer. Alright, locate the camera head. Line does a wrap around. It goes out the back of the house, about midway across the back, right by the crawl space hatch. Wraps around the right side of the house. It says you face the home from the street, and terminates out on Southwest Crestwood. Now it runs up the right side yard to get out to the road. And I just did my big yard steps there. We were about 125, 130 feet to the main. Big long sewer line. And I have got a lot of light glare here. I'm even shading my camera with an umbrella, but there's so much light reflection off the wall of the house, this white paint color. It's hard for my eyes to adjust right now to see fine detail. I can see big obvious stuff. It's your finer stuff, it's harder to see right now. So I'm going to do a little bit of reviewing of this video at home in better lighting. So just watch the report. There could be something on there I don't necessarily mention on the video here. So from the looks of it here, it looks like they took that update pretty much up to the street edge. Your street pipe is unupdated. But flows well. There's no standing water in it or anything. There's great flow through that spot. So right around the right-of-way to the street edge is where that update stops. And it looks like all 4-inch pipe end to end here. So when you have older pipe materials, this part of town, typically speaking, the line falls into homeowner responsibility all the way to the main. So anytime you've got older materials like that, the concrete actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. Again, I'm going to review this, but as it sits right now, it appears that way. Certainly has good slope to it. Behooves you these days to keep an eye on the sewer line and re-scope about every 2 years. With the advent of trenchless epoxy lining, which in a case like this, not trenching up almost the entire width of the road. The line terminates on the far side of the street. So you know, potentially have to trench up that almost the entire width of the roadway to update that if you're here long enough to see it, and or if it's something I potentially recommend. It's a much cheaper way to do a repair in a scenario like this. That's why epoxy lining was invented. So you don't have to go do a 25-foot trench across the road at quite a depth. You're about 7.5, 8 feet deep at the main there. So you're talking, you know, a repair that would be about 2 to 3 times cheaper typically than trenching. So assuming everything's good to go here after I do a review on it, I would recommend rescoping every 2 years. And what we're watching for at that point in time is signs that the joints are wearing out. That's usually the first thing that wears out in concrete. The grout gives out that seals the joints up. They slowly become exposed to the ground. And over time, those joints can start allowing groundwater and dirt to seep through. Which can slowly but surely lead to hydro erosion. And that can cause the line to settle. And if that process takes place for too long, the line settles too much, you lose the ability to do an epoxy liner on it. So we don't want to see that happen. Whoever installed this line did a fabulous job doing it. I mean, there is not a drop of standing water throughout this entire thing. Most lines that push over 100 feet will have fairly notable bellies in them. So this was very, very well installed. Not an easy thing to do. Anyway, as it relates to flow, line has great flow all the way out to the main lateral connection. As we sit here right now, again, not being able to see ultra fine detail, all the pipe appears to be in good condition and or in good shape for its age, and line is functioning properly at this time as it relates to flow. I'm going to give this thing a look over in better lighting. You know, look for fine detail stuff. You know, either minor. It would be stuff that is, you know, relatively minor at this point. I can't see. You know, if there were to be teeny tiny roots, joints that are just starting to give out, stuff like that. Nothing that would be affecting functionality though at this time.